Name is Jacob Spehar, born and raised Chisago City. What I do now is essentially father. I'm also a mental health therapist and addiction counselor. Work at a chronic pain clinic, and my biggest stress relief is CrossFit. Got into it 2012 after I stopped playing college football and had a competitive chip on my shoulder. So I wanted to see kind of athletically what I could do, and very fortunate and blessed that 2 years later, I was able to get on a team where I met my friend Matt Larson. We're at Timberwolf CrossFit, and from there on out, we were able to win our regional and go compete at the CrossFit Games. So I've had an affinity for CrossFit from there on out. I got the bug, and it was actually funny. My brother, Nick, who planted the seed when I was playing college football, he kept saying, "Hey man, you gotta try CrossFit." And I was like, oh, I don't wanna lose my muscle, my strength. And little do I know, it probably would have been the best thing for my college football career. Nick was one of those individuals that you just never say you couldn't do anything. And when he committed, it was lights out. He proved that not only in his training. He got Honor Man in sniper school, he got Honor Man, I believe, in Breacher. He was all in, no matter what. He was kind of a tall, thin guy, but the strength he had was incredible. He could just hack into muscle and endurance. You can look at his own hero workout, is kind of personifies what he is. He just never settled. It was always if you're gonna do something, you're gonna do it the best. So it was never an option. Once he found out about the SEALs, what they were, they're the tip of the spear, that was his calling. It wasn't gonna settle for second place. It was gonna be the #1 kind of slot and go from there, and he achieved it and did very well, accelerated in it. I think he liked the challenge. I mean, he got to serve our country. He got to be on a team with men and challenge him. He's always, in school, it was interesting because he wasn't the best student, but that's because I think he was bored, and then you find out once he got into Buzz, once he graduated, he was SEAL. He was sleeping in the briefing rooms. He just never wanted to miss a mission. Even I don't think if he was on it, he was still wanting to learn about what was going on. So I think it was just that constant challenge, that camaraderie, serving our country, protecting us from some pretty horrible people. He kind of had this mindset that he's willing to make the ultimate sacrifice to keep people safe.
Right now, currently it's 1 Chinook down. How copy?
Roger, we have a fallen angel. Extortion.
Hold this traffic. Anybody out there? We have a fallen angel.
There's more information in greater detail online, but essentially it was a ranger team kind of got pinned down by some hostiles, and they kind of call it a quick response team. So they got in a helicopter, 17 SEALs. I believe there was 31 total Americans, and then I think there was 7 Afghan soldiers as well. So 38 total, along with a TAC dog. And so I think they actually had pretty heavy hostile engagement. And so when they went to go in to rescue them, from what I was informed, an RPG hit their helicopter and brought the helicopter down. It was the greatest casualty in Navy SEAL history, and that's where a lot of the kind of foundations now that are very well known really started to kind of get, how would you say it, kind of publicity and understanding because of just the magnitude of what happened. 31 Heroes was developed essentially after Extortion 17. There was a lot of people that originally started 31 Heroes that were really close to a lot of the team guys. And they felt a pretty profound calling to step up and say, hey, we got to give back to the families. We have to help them out. And they've just done a phenomenal job.
What does the 31 Heroes workout for?
Yeah, so 31 Heroes is kind of the date. So the rep scheme and the date represent the day Extortion 17 essentially happened and the helicopter was shot down. It's August 6, 2011. So 8 thrusters at 155, 6 rope climbs, and 11 box jumps at a 30-inch box. And then it's kind of like they pair you up with a partner And because in many ways you're a team, right? And you're working through just kind of supporting each other. And while you're doing that work, another team member is carrying a 50-pound sandbag, is the recommended weight for men. And that's kind of in honor of like kind of the burden family members carry. From what I'm informed of is like the weight we carry from losing somebody. It just, obviously it's and it's 31 minutes long. And so it's just, you go through it as many times as possible with your teammate or your partner and kind of just grind through it. And it's incredibly special to see somebody willing, even if it's scaled, it doesn't matter if it's RX scaled, it's all gonna be difficult because you gotta run, you're gonna try to do things you might be out of your comfort zone. And even if you're used to those movements, everybody knows, I mean, a 155-pound thruster, rope climbs, and a tall box jump is tough, along with running with a bag, you know. And so I just encourage, I always, if you can, kind of push it, go to that dark place, kind of experience, like I've said, is some of that suffering a little bit that families have experienced. And I mean, the physical suffering is so much easier than the emotional suffering, you know? And so if you can kind of push it a little bit, you'll get to kind of sometimes experience what's it like to challenge yourself, push you kind of to an edge that you've never tried before.
What are the best way to support 31 Heroes?
The best way, honestly, is whether it's coming to the gym and supporting the boxes when the event is taking place, participating, it is a tough workout. I mean, if you've ever done it, you can't hide from it. It's a constant grind. And also, in many ways, is if you can afford to give some money, because that money, I personally can attest to the benefit it's helped, is that money does come back in to the families. When we request or we're needing something, they do really try to help us out. And so donating money, participating in the workout, buying a t-shirt, these are all great ways to get involved.